Hi, and welcome to Epiphanies. I'm Reverend Jessie Brandon, and I'm a life cycle celebrant, as well as an ordained metaphysical minister. And I get to bring my two loves together, books and people. And today we're talking about the book, Gary Zukav, Seat of the Soul. So before I get into that, grab a cup of tea, settle into your chair, kick off your shoes. Let's see where this goes. So, Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukav will change the way you see the world, interact with other people, and understand your actions and motivations. Gary Zukav takes you on a thrilling tour of the new human evolution, requiring each of us to make the values of the soul our own: harmony, cooperation, sharing, and reverence for life. So Gary says the evolution that we learned about in school is the evolution of physical form. We learned, for example, that the single-celled creatures of the oceans are the predecessors of all more complex forms of life. A fish is more complex and therefore more evolved than a sponge. Or a horse is more complex and therefore more evolved than a snake. A monkey is more complex and therefore more evolved than a horse, and so on, up to human beings, which are the most complex and therefore the most evolved life forms upon our planet. We were taught, in other words, that evolution means the progressive development of organizational complexity. So to take that a little bit further, I'm going to invite my guest on, Dr. Pete Douros. Pete, come on in.
Thank you.
Hi.
See you, Jessie.
It's good to see you too. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Have a seat, make yourself a cup of tea, and
Okay,
I am going to read your bio so that people know who I'm talking to today. So Dr. Pete Douros is a naturopathic doctor at Awakened Heart Naturopathic. He brings a compassionate approach to healing and guides his patients to a deeper understanding of why they aren't feeling well and heal on a deeper level. That's great. I know I've been a patient of yours and I really enjoyed it. So tell me about the book. Why did you choose this book?
Well, earlier this year, I was in a position where I just got out of a relationship that meant a lot to me, and I was in a place where I was hurting and wanted answers. And I actually went online. I went to YouTube and watched a whole bunch of videos. And I happened to watch a video of Gary Zukav speaking to Oprah about this book.
Right.
And it just really resonated with me. It helped me understand a little bit more about what I was feeling and the way I was engaging in my relationship and with other relationships. And there'll be some quotes I'll share afterwards that really hit for me. But I feel like it really helped me to understand my motivations, my behavior, what was driving my behaviors, and why I was getting the results in my life that I was getting that weren't in alignment with what I thought I wanted or what I thought I was working towards.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing when we find something that just opens our eyes and we go, oh, you mean my doing this wasn't going to get me that? It's like, yeah, the lights really go on.
Yeah.
So this is a recent purchase for you then?
Recent purchase, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
Yeah,
okay.
this summer, yeah.
Yeah. And would you or have you made recommendations to other people that they pick up this book?
I have actually, yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone that I've shared his ideas with in his book and that video that I mentioned, everyone's blown away, and everyone's surprised that this book originally came out in 1989. But for a lot of people, it's not really mainstream. So I'm really happy to share with people and share my experience, and hopefully some of the messages in the book will help others as well.
Yeah, it's really great because I know I myself picked it up in 1991 when I first read it. So it's nice to get your perspective, and I'd like to know what you want to share with us about the book.
Well, I'll start with intention, because I would say that's probably the most powerful thing that I got out of this book. We've all heard of intention.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times we don't really think about intention in every moment, in every experience, in every event, and how our intention behind it is directly related to what the result is. So I'll just read a little bit from here. So every action, thought, and feeling is motivated by an intention, and that intention is a cause that exists as one with an effect. If we participate in the cause, it is not possible for us not to participate in the effect. In this most profound way, we are held responsible for our every action, thought, and feeling, which is to say, for our every intention. We ourselves shall partake of the fruit of our every intention. It is therefore wise for us to become aware of the many intentions that inform our experience, to sort out which intentions produce which effects, and to choose our intentions according to the effects that we desire to produce.
So, what does that mean to you? Boil it down.
What does it mean to me? To me, what it means is on a daily level, on a moment-to-moment level, in what I'm doing, it's now on my radar, being here today. What is my intention? What is my intention in speaking to you? My intention is hopefully to share what I've gained from this book, and if something that I've gained from this book is something that somebody else is looking to achieve in their life or looking to connect with in their life, my intention is to share profound information that's available to us and hopefully help people shift in their lives too.
Yeah. So intention really is everything, because if you start your day with good intention and every word that you speak, good intention. I mean, we've done the 4 agreements on my show, and that's about, everything that you do, if you do it with intention, it just has better results. Yeah.
And a lot of times we get results in our life that doesn't seem to align with what we thought we were working towards. And that's a great time to check in with what your intention is. And you may have an intention that comes from your more of your mind, your conscious thinking. And a lot of times, he talks about this too, the difference between what's going on consciously and what's going on subconsciously. And if what our subconscious thoughts and intentions are, if those are more powerful than what our conscious intentions are, then that can lead to the results of the subconscious. So for example, let's say you're a business owner and you want to grow your business and your business isn't growing, there may be a subconscious intention or a subconscious pattern that that's existing that is overriding what you consciously believe is what you're actually working towards.
Right. So if you have a fear of success and you're trying to grow your business, well, those two are at cross purposes. So your intention to expand your business isn't going to work because you have this subconscious fear or something going on behind the scenes that will keep you from achieving your goal. Right.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Super. So was there something else about the book that spoke to you?
Yeah.
I really loved it. I know that when I read it way back in the 90s, I just was like, wow, I couldn't believe what he was saying.
Okay. Yeah, so another one that I'll talk about is, he talks a lot about, where is it here, sorry. Yeah. He talks about authentic power versus external power. So authentic power, our deeper understanding leads us to another kind of power, a power that loves life in every form that it appears, a power that does not judge what it encounters, a power that perceives meaningfulness and purpose in the smallest details upon the earth. This is authentic power. When we align our thoughts, emotions, and actions with the highest part of ourselves, we are filled with enthusiasm, purpose, and meaning. Life is rich and full. We have no thoughts of bitterness. We have no memory of fear. We are joyously and intimately engaged with our world. This is the experience of authentic power.
I just love that. I love that, because when you get real clear about your intention, and then you can accept authentic power because you know where you're heading and you know what you want to achieve, and it's coming from a place inside of you that is just so clear about all of that.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and then it's interesting after how he contrasts it to external power, which is, a lot of people are more familiar with, power of, say, in your job, power over other people, power in society, trying to obtain things, trying to achieve things. And what he talks about is, depending on what your intention is in those things, a lot of times, we want, somebody wants to be a CEO maybe because they want a certain level of wealth, because they want a yacht and they want a house, and all those things are symbols of external power. And it's interesting how that contrasts to what he just talks about with authentic power.
Well, it's amazing because although I did have a job with an agency in town, and I'd been there 5 years, and I identified so strongly with that job that when it ended, I didn't know who I was. So I was thinking as you read that, that if all of your symbols of power are external things and you lose them, what have you got? Whereas if you're working on your authentic power, then you know exactly who you are and what you're about and why you're doing what you're doing, and that is the true power. So,
and that's interesting because it ties into something else that he talks about in the book. He talks about 5 sensory versus multi-sensory living. So 5 sensory living is more along the lines of your example, where you have a job and you lose your job and you feel lost because you've focused a lot of your life on 5 sensory living. What you can perceive, your job, your house, those types of things, versus sometimes we, with multi-sensory living, we realize that there, along with the 5 sensory living, there's another dimension of help, of assistance, of universal support. And when we can connect more to that side of life, then we can realize that in situations like that, there's no reason to be afraid. It's not the end of the world, that there's a reason for it. And by exchanging with the flow of that, then we can evolve as humans in our lives.
yeah, very simply, the universe has your back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to stop you there,
Okay,
Pete,
perfect.
and I'm going to let you know that we're heading out for a commercial. This is Epiphanies. We welcome you to come back and join us again to learn more about what Dr. Pete does in the community. I thank you for watching so far, and join us in just a moment. Thank you. Hi, welcome back to Epiphanies. I'm here with my guest, Dr. Pete Douros, and we've been talking about The Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukav. And now it's Dr. Pete time. Tell me all about what you do.
So I'm a naturopathic doctor. I work within the Waterview space on Dunlop Street in downtown Barrie.
Yeah, with Jackie DeBecker.
Yeah, with
right?
Jackie, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of us there helping people with their challenges in health and other challenges in life. And so as a naturopathic doctor, what I do is I listen to people's stories, and I help people understand how different challenges they faced in their life, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, how it all kind of ties together. And then in my work with my patients, whether it's through conversation or whether it's through homeopathic medicine, which is a big part of my practice, I help to support them to move past those challenges and to help to sort of integrate different parts of themselves to a healthier version of themselves.
Okay, so this is not therapy.
It's not therapy, no.
Okay, so
Yeah, but there's a lot of conversation involved because, for example, if someone has insomnia, one of the natural treatments for insomnia is taking magnesium.
okay,
And a lot of times magnesium helps to relax the nervous system, and if there's a deficiency in magnesium, which a lot of us are deficient in, taking that will help, and that may be the solution. But a lot of times that's not the whole solution. So by understanding the patient on a whole person level and understanding how the sleep has to do with their life history and like what the significance of sleep is, maybe they've had difficult dreams or nightmares as a child, and that's why leading up to going to bed, there may be a restlessness or a fear of going to sleep,
right.
which often may not be able to be completely addressed with a mineral supplement or something like that. And that's where the homeopathic medicine comes in. So in the first visit with my patients, it's usually a 2 to 3 hour visit. And say they're talking about sleep, troubles with sleep, I'll ask them all about that. I'll figure out exactly what the pattern is with sleep. Then I'll ask them about their relationships. I'll ask them about their work, their children, find out what it is that makes them excited, what it is they find challenging, what their fears are, what they like to do, what their hobbies are. Because if just treating a particular medical condition or a symptom, in my opinion, it doesn't really address that this symptom is existing within a whole person. And a lot of times medicine is missing that. It's missing the humanity of suffering, the humanity of illness, and is just treating the body like a machine that needs to be fixed because it's broken.
Right.
Yeah.
And it actually just treats the symptoms and not the cause in the medical world. And they're doing what they're trained to do. There's no harm there.
Yeah.
But if you want to go deeper and find out, okay, this is the symptom, what's the cause, how can I address the cause in a way that is more beneficial and natural to my body system. And that's what naturopath and homeopathic medicine addresses.
Yeah, so the goal of naturopathic medicine is to address the root cause of illness and to support the body to do what it's naturally able to do. So if there's something holding back the body, so say there's been an experience in life that has made us stuck, some challenging experience, whether we've lost a loved one or we've gone through a difficult time, and the way we used to be when we were flowing doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
It's like a river is flowing really well, and all of a sudden a big boulder falls up from above and blocks the flow of the river, and now the water's not going the way it's supposed to go. It's not flowing anymore.
Yeah.
So the goal of supporting, I help to support my patients to get the boulder out of the river so that they can flow again.
Right.
And the magical part of it, the great part about it is that the way that the boulder comes out of the river is not because I'm giving them a medicine that goes into their body and causes all these changes, and then once they stop the medicine, then the body goes back to the way it was. The treatments that I give to my patients help the body to understand, to realize that that boulder is there, and it naturally knows what it needs to do to remove the boulder, because the body is so smart. The body wants to flow. But sometimes it doesn't realize what parts of itself is blocking the water from flowing, and that's what the treatments help to do. It helps the body to realize what's out of balance and to self-correct.
Right. Now, following that theme, I'm curious to know, is there a situation where that boulder would not be removable, so therefore the body teaches itself to find a new way to flow? Is that conceivable?
That's also conceivable, yeah.
The reason I ask is because of the neuroplasticity of the brain. I wondered if it was kind of the same thing. When you couldn't do something, say you could, you're left-handed, as I am, and something happens to my left hand, well, then I have to learn how to use my right hand. So that involves some neuroplasticity because I've got to retrain my brain on that. So I was wondering if, what's the connection, if it's the same in naturopathic medicine.
It is. So kind of, I think a way that I could parallel that to other issues that people might have is, in every moment, all of us are making the best decisions that we can in the moment. And the body is the same way. If there's a boulder in the river, the body will figure out another way to survive, to continue on with life, and to manage the best it can with that obstacle.
Right,
And
okay.
when I'm working with my patients, you know, sometimes the boulder may not completely come out of the river, but the goal is to help them understand how the boulder got there and to support them as much as they can in whatever is possible in their life to have the water flow as freely as it can.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Wonderful, yes. Because then I flip back to, okay, if I have kids and they're part of the reason that I can't get to sleep at night, do I have to give the kids away?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know, if
Yeah.
you can't move the boulder, where do you go?
Yeah, and that's an interesting example because a lot of times it's not always the situation of our life that causes us distress. It's how we respond to the situation of our life.
Right, of course.
So if we have children and we're putting them down to bed at 8 o'clock and we have to wake up really early in the morning, and ideally we should go to bed at 10 to get a good night's sleep, but we're going to bed at midnight, and that's a conscious decision we're making because our intention is to love our children and to give them what they need. Then how do we work with that once that intention is set? After they go to bed, are we anxious? Are we stressed out? Are we constantly rushing because we have to go to sleep?
And as there are a number of things we have to get done before we can get to bed so that we can get the kids up in the morning and get them fed and off to school and
Yeah.
all of those things. So how can you adjust?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
your mindset, right? Because what you need to do or what you choose to do in that day can be done with distress that you want to go to bed earlier, and there can be resistance to what you're doing. Or you can make a choice that this is what I'm going to do. I would have liked to go to bed at 10, but I'm not going to judge myself or be harsh to myself that I'm not going to bed at 10
Right.
because I've made these decisions. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
And then you just proceed as best you can.
yeah.
You know, sometimes after that happens several days in a row, we all get stressed out, and that happens to all of us.
Yeah.
But it's all about just being conscious of what's going on and setting intentions and checking in with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And which leads us right back to the book, you know,
Exactly, yeah.
setting your intention and then checking in. Am I still on course? Is this still working for me? And that is such a beautiful tie-in to, how do you say it, naturopathy or
Naturopathy, yeah.
Naturopathy. Look at
Yes,
that. Just took a guess at that one. So, as you said, you're at the Waterview.
The Waterview space at
Waterview
150
space,
Dunlop Street
150
East.
Dunlop,
Unit 104.
okay. And you have a beautiful view of,
yeah.
of the water from
Yeah.
that location. And are you involved in any way in the community? Do you do any volunteer work, or have you been asked to do that kind of thing?
So far, I haven't done too much recently. I'm a member of BNI in Barrie,
Oh, yes.
and Rainbows is our charitable member.
Nice.
So
I love rainbows.
Yeah, they do great work helping children with going through some challenging times. So I volunteered with them this summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm relatively new to Barrie, so I'm excited to get involved more in other causes that I believe in.
Yeah. Well, rainbows is lovely. You must know Brenda Coburn.
I haven't met her yet, I don't
Oh.
believe. Yeah.
Well, when you do, she's involved in rainbows and a lovely woman, lovely to
Okay,
work
great.
with. So yeah, well, that's really terrific. So I want to ask you some questions on it, kind of a
Okay.
different bent.
Sure.
If you had a chance for a do-over in life, is there anything you'd do differently?
I don't think so. I believe that every challenge that I've faced, every failure that has come in my life is all part of my soul's evolution. And it's all meant to unfold. It was meant to unfold the way it did, and it's led me to where I am. I started off my career in the corporate world, working in banking,
Yeah.
and had a realization that what am I doing here? Listening to that feeling of that this isn't right for me, and following a different path. And I'm so glad I did that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what a different path to go from banking to naturopathy. That's just, so how did you discover naturopathy? I mean, what led you to that?
Well, actually, I was dating someone at the time, and she had a health concern that she was getting medical treatment for, but she wanted to get a natural opinion about it. So she went to the Naturopathic College in Toronto at Leslie and 401, and they have a student clinic there. And she told me, she came back and she said, oh, I went to this clinic, they told me to eat this way for my medical condition. And it's like, it's all this stuff you've been telling me. And at this point, I still worked in the corporate world, But my real passion was nutrition and natural health and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds pretty cool. And things didn't work out with her, but I always had it in my mind that one day I want to go there.
Yeah.
And a couple of years later, I was wanted to become a vegetarian, and I was like, I should get some support to make sure I do this in a healthy way.
Yeah.
So I went to the college and started getting some treatment, and I showed up thinking that they're going to give me meal plans, and meanwhile they're asking me all these questions about my feelings, about my experiences in life. You know,
What do my feelings have to do with carrots?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and all of a sudden, you know, I have a student and a supervisor, you know, listening to my answers at that point, being a type A personality and disconnected from my emotions. And they're like kind of grinning. They're like, what do we give him? What do we give him? Oh, I see that. Yeah. And then they gave me some treatment. They gave me some natural treatments and homeopathic medicine, actually. And it just really opened me up to go down this path. And, you know, now I've kind of gone down the road quite a bit. And yeah.
And how long have you been with Waterview?
Waterview's been there for several years as a yoga studio, and there was a healing space there. But now, it's right next door to that yoga space, or a large room, there's I believe it's 5 or 6 rooms where different healers. It just opened last summer.
Oh, okay. So the new section just opened. Okay,
yeah, so
awesome.
I've been there since last summer. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop you there. I invite you, the viewers, if you have any questions about Dr. Pete or the book or anything that we've talked about today, please email me at jessie@jessiebrandon.ca, and I'll address those questions in another show. So Pete, last question. What do you hope your legacy will be that you leave behind?
I hope that the people that interact with me will leave the interaction having, you know, tying into your show, having an epiphany, realizing that the way that they may perceive the world to be, or, you know, certain limitations that they may have about themselves, about their lives, that they may be able to see that there's more to the world and to their lives, and that there's more potential. They may explore other things and expand their life.
Right. Thank you so much, Pete, for taking time out of your busy day. I really appreciate it. It's been such a joy to have you here. Thank you for viewing Epiphanies, and I invite you to join me again next week, Sundays at 8 p.m. And that's Epiphanies, about books and people in our community. Thanks for watching.